episode 19 of Dads on Wrestling, coming to you live from the Long Beach Clothing Company with your host, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, and Mr. TW himself, Jeff Meacham. Starts right now.
My post is too cocky. I can take it back. Wait a minute. There we go. More goofy than cocky up there.
There you go.
I feel better now. I feel better.
As the random announcer voice just said, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 19 of Dads on Wrestling, broadcasting live and direct from the Long Beach Clothing Company over here on the north side of Long Beach, Atlantic Avenue. Make sure you come by and check it out for all your Long Beach clothing needs. They got some great shit here, people. I mean, look.
Check out the new one you just bought, dude.
Yeah, I feel like Vanna White here on fucking Wheel of Fortune, showcasing all of the awesome merchandise. But
yeah.
Seriously,
we came in to tape the show. We came to tape the show, and Jay sees this devil come out of the Long Beach Arena. We were like, damn, we gotta get you that, dude.
Seriously,
that's
dude, because
awesome.
you know my
Yeah.
kayfabe job works out of the convention center in the arena. So you know, I see a Long Beach Clothing Company shirt rocking the Long Beach Arena. I'm like, hey, I gotta represent and have that shit.
Exactly.
But anyways, episode 19, Long Beach Clothing Company.
Our first
thank you again.
True episode.
Yeah, thank you for having us out here. We're here to bring you all of the information, all the hype, all the pluses, the pros, the cons of the WWE 2011 draft.
Which means I walk up.
Which means that's the end of our show for today. We'll see you next time.
Everybody. That's right.
No. Seriously, though, the number one draft pick, we had a battle royal, 20 men, 10 from Raw, 10 from SmackDown.
2 from SmackDown.
Big Show
survived.
and Kofi Kingston survived, and SmackDown got John Cena. This was huge.
Yeah, we were loving it.
This was huge because John Cena has been on Raw for 6 years.
He was drafted from SmackDown to Raw as the WWE champion.
Back in 2005.
It changed the scope of everything that WWE was about. It moved the world titles for the first time.
Because up until that point, only the mid-carders had really been jockeyed around.
True.
You know? Nobody thought that anything drastic like that would happen on the draft. And the first draft pick was John Cena, and the first draft pick this year was John Cena. This was supposed to be huge. We'll get to why it wasn't in a minute, in case you already saw Raw.
Cena's pick in 2005 when he got drafted the story was told by Chris Jericho. Even though we found out in his book that he knew, the look of surprise on his face, the Jericho's character surprise, he was like, he's on Raw!
Right?
So that told the whole story. Monday Night told the whole story too. SmackDown, the whole arena was like, God.
Oh my God. John Cena's going to the Sci-Fi Network.
No! Anyway.
Number 2 draft pick. Eve beat Layla in a Divas match. Raw got Rey Mysterio.
So
this was a 1-2 Mike Tyson knockout combo. Like, seriously, this was hard hitting.
The real story besides Rey Mysterio getting Raw getting Rey Mysterio was the complete disintegration of Lay Cool and Layla's finally fighting back and just bitching Michelle out and just tearing her apart. It was like,
awesome, because I've been a Layla fan for years.
Yep, we love Layla here.
But Rey Mysterio was only on Raw for 1 year the last time he got drafted. Back in 08.
08, okay.
2008. Thank you to Statboy, by the way, for all these little tidbits that I've got. Back in 2008, Rey Mysterio got drafted, and at the big time, again, that was a huge coup for Raw because the Mexican demographic, you know, had the CW and UPN, and they were like counting on Rey to bring that demographic to those ratings, and then they pulled him away. And those ratings kind of suffered a little bit.
Which is funny because then
then they put him back, but now that, you know, it's on Sci-Fi, it's not the same demographic anymore, I guess, so that's why they went ahead and pulled him to Raw.
Which is funny because then we thought, okay, well, at least SmackDown has Alberto.
That got changed later.
That got changed later, yeah.
Third draft pick, Kofi Kingston beat Sheamus, and SmackDown got Randy Orton.
That is huge.
These are 3 big names.
Randy Orton, at the end of the day, was the biggest one of the night.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten to that.
We haven't gotten to that one yet, yeah, but Randy Orton was the biggest one of the night.
Then we had Randy Orton defeat Dolph Ziggler for 2 draft picks.
For SmackDown, because he was on SmackDown by then.
And SmackDown got Sin Cara and Mark Henry.
Mark Henry, not a huge thing, whatever. Mark Henry never has been a huge Impact player ever since.
Although, in all the years that Mark Henry has been on, he's only been drafted twice prior to this. He was drafted in the original draft, and he was drafted in the supplemental draft in the 08 to
Which led him
ECW.
ECW, which made him ECW champion also.
Those are the only 2 times in the entire history of the draft that Mark Henry has been drafted.
Right, and then Sin Cara was a free agent, so
Right.
no DQ said it was from Raw to SmackDown. No, it was from free agency
To an
SmackDown,
assigned
to an
brand.
assigned brand. So
You know,
that's
so-
good for SmackDown. They actually get Sin Cara at
Right.
least.
So, while Mark Henry may not be a huge name, it's a huge deal that in all the years they've done the draft, this is only the 3rd time he's moved.
Right.
That kind of says something about his personality and what he brings to the brand.
True.
5th draft pick, or the 6th one technically, Rey Mysterio defeated Wade Barrett,
Which meant
and
Raw
Raw
got
got 2 draft picks again. They got the Big Show and Alberto.
2 huge ones again.
This is the 5th time that the Big Show was drafted, because Big Show was drafted back in 02 with the original brand, in 05, and then he's been drafted every year since 2009.
The last 3 years he's been drafted every time. They
Pick
can't know what the hell they want to do
a
with the
show
Big
for the Big Show. Seriously, you can't. Everyone's question was, well, what does this do to the tag team titles? Well, the tag titles can be defended on both shows, so as long as Big Show and Kane still have the straps, they're still together.
Which is also good because then we can have Big Show and Kane do singles matches, and then when it comes time for big matches like pay-per-views or a huge Raw or a huge SmackDown,
Right.
they will come together.
Exactly.
It makes the tag titles actually worth waiting for, in my opinion.
To an extent.
To an extent.
To an extent. I'm still kind of pissed off that they took the belts off of the core,
True.
but,
Well,
it does
well,
make them a little bit more meaningful, because now people have to really work to get to them, because they're not going to be together all the time.
Yeah, and plus the core's a mess anyway, so,
Then the last match on Raw, Miz, Alberto Del Rio, and CM Punk
From Raw.
defeated John Cena, Christian, and Mark Henry.
For 1 draft pick for Raw.
Hold on, before we get to that, Mark Henry turns heel and just annihilates everybody on his team.
Including Cena, so, yeah.
So,
So SmackDown's John Cena got knocked down, and then the Raw pick was made,
and John Cena
and John
went back
Cena
to
is
Raw.
the Raw pick. Yeah. Let me just say how stupid this was. First of all, it was stupid for us in general because we went to the Tough Enough party and missed everything but the first 5 minutes of Raw and the last match of Raw. So
Right.
we knew it was going to happen. Because Cena was in a SmackDown blue shirt, and then he comes up as a Raw pick. We're like, okay, he must have moved at some point.
Which
And-
we'll get into the Tough Enough viewing party in a little bit if we still have time.
we
So
still
we
have
got to
time.
talk about our experiences on that.
Yeah, definitely, because that was just a great time. But yeah, Cena being moved back and forth. The only person to ever go back and forth in
The same
one
year.
night, and not the same year, is Triple H moved to SmackDown in 04 in the first draft lottery, and then Raw general manager
back.
Bischoff he pleaded with general manager at the time, Kurt
Right.
Angle, and got Booker and Dudley sent to SmackDown in exchange to get
Right,
Triple
but it
H
didn't
back.
happen in the same night.
That's what I
It
said,
happened
the same
within a
night.
couple. That's why I said the same year. It happened for the same draft year. It didn't happen the same night.
year. Okay, all right, okay.
That's all I'm trying to clarify.
Okay, got it. Okay. Anyway, so this is the first time it happened in the same night.
Yes.
And was it really
Which
worth
means
it?
that Triple H doesn't mean shit compared to John Cena.
Damn. Damn, Hunter. Damn, Hunter. Anyway.
Go make another baby.
Oh. No. You're talking about 4 big nose girls
Probably got
walking.
3.
I know, seriously. Those poor girls are in
If they have
trouble.
Stephanie's breasts, I think it'll make up for having Hunter's nose. Just throwing that out.
Well, you can always augment both, too.
Lady Killer over here in the background is just shaking his head like, no, you didn't
Yes,
really
sir.
know that.
Only one thing, Stephanie's breasts are fake.
So I said you can always augment both.
Yeah.
You can always make the nose smaller and the boobs bigger.
So anyway, John Cena was
we're
the
talking
big
about little kids,
failure.
man. That's fail.
John Cena was the big
fail
failure
tonight,
of
no
the
question,
draft
no
because, we all know that John Cena loves his home on Raw. He probably bitched to Vince backstage to get sent back to Raw.
I heard that's exactly what happened.
Cena, come on, SmackDown needs you. They just lost Edge. The only other huge thing they got in the draft was Randy Orton. SmackDown really could have used you back over there.
And what
And
they
you
lost
sold
on-
out the company for your own ego.
And then they lost even more in the supplemental draft, which we'll get to right now.
Which we're getting to right now. The first move of the supplemental draft sent Bryan Danielson, because
We don't use the
Bryan
other
is
name.
his slave name.
That's right.
Bryan Danielson went to SmackDown, and I read on Twitter that Bryan is actually happy with this move.
Just a side note, Aaron, my Aaron told me that I'm getting so much flack for calling it slave name. Slave name! Slave name!
Maybe that's why Aaron isn't promoting our show.
Maybe.
Dad's on Wrestling, only on YouTube.
Thursdays and sometimes Saturdays, depending on when we put the
Listen to
damn thing
Martin and Eric from Tough Enough.
They
They'll tell
know.
you.
They know.
But yeah, so Brian is actually happy with this move.
Which
I read on
means
his
if
Twitter.
he's happy,
we're happy. Exactly. Jack Swagger went to Raw.
That's
Huge.
That's huge
That's a
for
former
Raw.
world champion.
You know, honestly, I think that's more huge for Swagger than it is for Raw because, yeah, Swagger's former world champion. Yes, he got his push on Raw and challenged for the world championship as a member of Raw before he became world champion a couple years back. But I don't think it's huge for Raw in the grand scope of things because all he's going to be is Michael Cole's match.
Exactly.
Let
me turn my page here. The Great Khali went back to SmackDown.
He was on SmackDown.
Anyways, Jimmy
on Raw?
Uso
That's right.
from the Usos went to SmackDown.
We were going, oh great, another tag team split up. Super.
Kelly came to Raw.
Was she on any, what?
You know, these couple of moves ain't anything huge right here. JTG came to Raw. JTG hasn't been anything
Very
since
happy
they
about
broke up
JTG.
Prime Time. Alicia Fox went to SmackDown.
Was she on the,
William Regal went to SmackDown. That, in the grand scheme of things, is kind of huge.
It could be.
Because SmackDown is struggling with main event talent, so I could maybe see Regal getting an IC or a US push again.
I was going to say, it would have been funny if we had Regal challenge Sheamus for the US title. It made no sense whatsoever.
Yoshitatsu's on SmackDown. He got drafted from Superstars.
That's right.
Zack Ryder didn't move like we'd wanted to.
I know.
I'm sorry, Zack.
know.
But
Oh,
Yoshitatsu got drafted from Superstars to SmackDown.
Yeah, Yoshi.
You know, now he needs to just go pick up Mario, eat a couple mushrooms, and maybe he'll actually be relevant again.
Eat a couple mushrooms.
It's a video game reference, Jeff.
Dads of Wrestling does not advocate drug use or any sort of paraphernalia activity on this show. I'm just going to throw that out. Ow.
Drew
But in here you never know.
McIntyre.
Anyway.
Drew McIntyre went to Raw.
That is huge.
big.
I don't care what anybody says about Drew McIntyre's stock in the company at this point. He's a big player.
Yes, he very much is, and I'm hoping that he'll be in Money in the Bank in a few months for a title shot.
That would be freaking awesome. Please.
Nobody expected The Miz to win Money in the Bank. I think Drew winning Money in the Bank right now would be huge.
I would argue that nobody expected Miz to cash in successfully. Winning was not the issue. It was
though,
successful
because
cashing
he was
in.
in there against Randy Orton. He was in there against Cena.
He was in there against guys that had already been world champions.
Yeah, he was in there against top-tier talent that everybody assumed would get it.
I always think.
And then here comes Smarmy Miz.
I always think the Money in the Bank is meant for guys that have not won the world championship yet, and cashing like Edge did the first time, like Punk, Swagger, Miz now.
Yeah. But Punk
so-
was a two-time Money in the Bank winner back-to-back after he had already won the world title.
And Edge was
And
05,
then he won it
07.
again.
And Edge was 07, although he did beat Kennedy for it.
he
Not
beat
he didn't
Kennedy
win the
for it.
Money in the Bank. Yeah. Anyway,
Natalya went to SmackDown. That was a huge disappointment for me.
although
I love Maddie to death. She needs to be on the A show.
if Karma goes to Raw, it's okay because you don't have Dominant Diva on the show.
Kurt Hawkins went to Raw. Moving on. Chris Masters
Right.
went to Raw. Moving on. Jey Uso went to SmackDown. So at least
they put the tag team back
they
together.
kept them
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It just took a while to put them back together.
Right.
Turning my page, Kofi Kingston came to Raw.
That's
That's another
huge.
big
Another
move.
huge one.
Feel the boom drop, baby. Kofi is now on Raw.
Yep.
I could maybe see Kofi being the one to take the title from Wade.
Could be on Sunday. Could be. We'll talk more about that in the prediction show.
Yeah,
Or at least we'll
yeah.
try to. There's
Yeah,
so much.
you know.
There's so much stuff going on for Extreme Rules. We have to get to everything. Yeah.
That's why, make sure you check out episode 20. That's why we're bringing in the Lady Killer Ray Larkin once again, because he's just got the jokes to help us fill out that time, man. Gotta make that time fill. Ted DiBiase went to SmackDown.
That could be huge in the grand scheme of things if they put a freaking belt on it.
It could be, but my thought process right now is it won't.
Okay. We'll see.
Tyson Kidd went to SmackDown.
Tyson Kidd's still employed?
Maybe they'll put Tyson and Natty back together.
Since they are dating.
Maybe. Hopefully. I think that's the only way Tyson will become relevant again.
Right.
Because ever since he lost his diesel, when he broke up off the Hart
Harry,
Dynasty, once he lost his diesel, he's been nothing.
Yep.
Tamina went to SmackDown, which means that Santino has lost his girlfriend.
But the Usos may have regained her.
Maybe. I don't know. If I was one of the Usos and Tamina turned on me the way she did, I wouldn't welcome that bitch back.
I wouldn't either, but they are.
I'd be like, get down on your knees and beg me to take you back.
Well, at the end of the day, they are kin, though. The whole Alpha Samoa handle, the whole thing.
Tyler Rex went to Raw. That's going to be a wreck. I think that's why I was starting to say that.
Okay.
Anyways, moving on.
Tyler Rex's biggest claim to fame is Matt Hardy stole his freaking hair. Sorry.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry.
And Matt, I'm totally fumbling my words today. Matt Hardy is at least getting world title shots.
Okay.
Matt Hardy is at least getting world title shots against
This is
Cena
true. This is true.
for having Tyler Rex's hair. Tyler Rex can't even get a tag team title shot with
On
somebody.
Superstars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Riley went to SmackDown. This was huge. The Miz has lost his apprentice.
But it will be good for him.
I think this will be good for Riley too because, I kind of liked Riley's gimmick, the whole varsity villain on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And if he goes back to that and kind of distance himself from being the Miz's bitch, he might become IC or US champion by this time next year.
Yep.
I totally see good things for Riley.
I agree that it's good that he's away from Miz. I disagree with going back to the varsity villain. I think he's evolved beyond that now.
I don't. The gimmick kind of worked good for Chris Nowinski when he was doing the whole Harvard graduate and everything. I think that if
he got out of his head and retired. So,
it's true.
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix went to Raw, which kind of goes to your thing about Karma. If Karma comes to Raw, Beth Phoenix is going to be the one to stop her.
I think
she's the only viable threat.
On Raw, anyway.
Natty would be the semi-main event threat, but Karma would eventually beat her. Beth is the only person I could see. She's the Glamazon.
Yep.
Beth is the only viable contender to Karma.
We had talked about, and you brought. I was gonna bring up on Talk Wrestling when I did the other day, but I figured, let Jay and I talk about this because this is Jay's idea.
Yeah.
Karma goes through everybody, and then she gets to Gail, and goes to plow Gail over, and then you said, let him embrace instead.
Yeah.
And Gail's the one that's brought Karma in and goes, you know what, you bunch of Barbie bitches. I've been a diva I've been since 2003. I've been around the wrestling business as far as WWE or TNA
At least
or whatever.
the main companies.
At least the main companies, yeah. And I've been pushed aside and made to date Bryan Danielson for crying out loud. I love Bryan, but come on. And in the other company, I was a world champion. I was the first world champion in that company's history. And the only reason I got beat is because Karma obliterated me. But now we're on the same side. Of course, you can't say all that on WWE TV,
exactly.
But that's the point she can make.
Exactly. She can make the point, though, that ever since she came back to WWE, she's been overlooked by all these Barbie dolls, the Michelle McCools, the Laylas, the Eves, the Brie Bellas.
And yet made to dress like them.
And here's a female that can actually wrestle, and it's like, look, if you're not going to take me seriously, I'm going to bring somebody in to have my back that'll make you take me seriously.
Exactly. That could work. We'll see what happens.
And then Sheamus went to SmackDown with the United States title, putting both mid-card titles on the same show.
Which, I'm going to bring this up on episode 20, but I got to believe one of those belts is going to be defended on Sunday.
Which is why I'm thinking Wade Barrett may end up dumping the belt to Kofi.
Maybe.
Because they still had a little bit of a rivalry going on SmackDown, so it would make sense to make that match, and then since Kofi's gone to Raw, just let the IC title go with it.
Makes sense to me. Those belts started on those shows anyway. US was on SmackDown, IC was on Raw. Stephanie brought the US title back after 2 years, so. End of the notes.
That's it for the notes. Real quickly, before we wrap up, we want to talk a little bit about our experience in Frisco's with the Tough Enough viewing party. All in all, I'd say it was a decent night.
It was.
We got some good promos cut for you. You can check those out now on the YouTube, youtube.com/Renegade Wrestling.
With Eric Watts.
Yes, one with Eric and one with Martin.
And we asked AJ, and AJ very respectfully said, you know what, not sure if I can do that because of the whole WWE thing. And, we respected that.
Yeah.
Mainly because he bought me a shot of liquor.
Yeah, Jeff got made up for it, He asked me if I wanted to drink, and, conditions won't allow me to. Straight edge, baby, straight edge. But
I am far from it, so
Jeff was able to take him up on the offer.
I was good to go.
Jeff was feeling lovely the whole rest of the night. But,
I was feeling good.
Overall, the night was good. The superstars that were there were more than friendly, more than willing to hang out and
we
talk
got to
to
see
people.
Our friend Johnny Yuma from Mach 1 and from NWA.
Yes. We got to see Top Gun Talwar.
Top Gun Talwar appeared from obscurity.
Seriously, he dug out of the hole that Bin Laden was hiding in, to come and make a cameo appearance.
Why do you say it like that? Because Top Gun looks like one?
No. It's all in good fun. We love you, Top Gun.
That's it.
You know, take us to the danger zone again, man.
God damn it!
And then Mikey O'Shea.
Mikey O'Shea comes
from
in.
NWA. From NWA in Mach 1, we got to see him, even though he didn't really remember me.
He even asked me, he goes, why can't you have Johnny Yuma and Mikey O'Shea to plug NoDQ.com? I'm like, I'm not plugging NoDQ. Oh. Well, I'm going to get back to my drink then. I'm like, all right, then there you go.
But, you know, Frisco's didn't really know how to handle the party. We got there about 5:45. We caught the tail end of Tough Enough. That wasn't supposed to start till 8 o'clock, so we had that spoiled. We caught the beginning of Raw.
First Raw, but we didn't finish the Battle Royal, so we had no idea who the first pick was, although we did later.
Yeah. Then, you know, they cut it to a basketball game. And then they cut back at the very end, so we see Cena in the blue shirt. We see he gets drafted. That kind of spoiled everything. Yep. We ended up saying, you know, fuck this and leaving, but the atmosphere was good.
Then we got all this free stuff.
The atmosphere was good. The party was good. Frisco's just needs to plan better.
Frisco needs to plan better, but we love Frisco's anyway, and we'll be back here in the future. And we'll also be back at Long Beach Clothing Company.
Hopefully next month for another prediction show.
Whatever pay-per-view is coming up next, I forget. But we will see you at that show here, and more shows in the coming weeks on Dads on Wrestling.